Good evening, YouTube. Hardball Crazy here, coming back at you. I just thought, everybody knows, y'all know that this week, 2019 Topps Heritage is being released, and you all know that it's this year is taken after design of 1970 Topps. So I haven't gone out and bought any Topps Heritage this year. I don't know how much I'm going to buy. Probably just a few packs here and there. But instead of going through my heritage cards of the past and go through waiting for me to bust some 2019 heritage, um, I decided to do something a little bit different. I'm going to talk about the set. It's my cards I have from the original cards. The heritage is inspired by this year. It was 1970, so I thought I'd show off some of my 1970 Topps cards. So a little bit different uh, inspiration from the 2019 heritage. I don't have many 1970 Topps cards. I'm going to show you about a half a dozen or so. Talk a little bit about the players themselves. Some of them have a little bit interesting backstory, you may not know. But I'm going to start off with a couple Hall of Famers. Reggie Jackson, second year card. And the Ernie Banks, relative high number 630. As you see, it's off center. 70 Topps, I believe, is pretty notorious for centering, bad centering. There's a couple Hall of Famers. Another one is Mr. Lagrange, Rusty Staub of Montreal Expos. Got his number retired by the Expos. So I sort of kind of guys who got their number retired or not Hall of Famers. I try to get at least a card of them in that team they played for. So got a Rusty Staub with the Expos, but it got his nickname is Lagrange. Pardon my French, it's not the best. And also I have the Vita Blue rookie card. Also Gene Tennis rookie card, but Vita Blue, so the only reason I bought it because the top pitchers from the 70s, AL MVP, Cy Young winner. Tennis was, of course, the one of the core figures of the Oakland A's dynasties early 70s. I believe Blue was the first to start All-Star game in both leagues. I might be wrong, but I think I read that somewhere. Next up is one of the top stars of the late 60s until a bit of a bad luck. A lot of bad luck. Tony Conigliaro. From 1964 to 67, top sluggers in the American Leagues. Of course, he got hit by a pitch in the face and knocked out and never was the same. He had a couple comebacks, but was never the star that he was projected to be. He has the AL record for youngest ever to hit 100 career home runs at age 22. You see here his after his beating, he missed the whole 68 season, made a comeback at 69, hit 20 homers, won the comeback player of the year. I believe he's the first teenager ever to hit 20 home runs in the major leagues, following Juan Soto. Bryce Harper followed him. Might be wrong there too. Now a lot's got to be up there, be there somewhere, I think, too. But right now the Major League Baseball gives an award in his honor for the best for the player with the comeback player of the year, the show the most perseverance, named after him, Tony Conigliaro Award. So I thought I should at least have one Tony Conigliaro card in my collection. I also at least have one card in my collection is the one-year team, the Seattle Pilots. They played 1 year in 1969. Seattle Pilots then moved to Milwaukee with the ownership of Bud Selig. This is Tommy Harper, one-time 30-30 man, I believe, with the Red Sox. So I thought I at least should have one Seattle Pilot card. So 70 Topps is the only one year they could be able to have them show them with a Pilot's uniform. Even though by 1970 they were playing Milwaukee. 69 Topps always has, the Pilot cars all have headshots, and so it doesn't really show them in the Seattle uniform. Of course, Seattle got baseball back in 1977 with the Mariners. My next guy is a local guy. Tiger fans should know him well, of my generation, Gates Brown. Pitch hitter galore from 1968. Extraordinaire, I should say. 1968, 97 games, 92 at-bats. He hit .370 as a pitch, mostly as a pinch hitter. He's famous for being a great pinch hitter, and obviously when the DH came to town, he was the Tigers' first regular DH. He's a local boy, always a fan favorite of Detroit, nicknamed the Gator. Funny story about Gates Brown is that, of course, he's a pinch hitter, so he always sat on the bench for a lot of the games. He got hungry one game and he started to grab a hot dog without the manager knowing it. And as he was eating his hot dog layered with mustard and ketchup, he got called up to pinch hit mid-hot dog. So without trying to let the manager, Mayo Smith, see him, so he kind of tucked the hot dog within his jersey and went up to plate. And he said every year, every game, every at-bat in his whole career, he always tried to get hit. But that one time, I kind of hoping I wasn't going to get hit, having a hot dog in his jersey. But he did get a line drive, hustled into second base, slid in head first in second base for a double. But remember, his hot dog was within his jersey, so he got up with hot dog and mustard and ketchup stains all over his jersey. And needless to say, the players on the field and his teammates were laughing quite hard at it. So that's the fun Gates Brown story. He was also the hitting coach of the '84 Tiger World Series team. Lifelong Detroit Tiger and Detroiter in general, fan favorite. My next up is from my Michigan State collection. Ron Peronowski played at MSU. Of course, he was a longtime Dodger reliever in the '60s and a longtime Dodger pitching coach under Tom Lasorda. But he did play at MSU. This is part of my MSU collection. Ron Peronowski. Next up is another former Tiger, Ike Brown. No relation to Gates. Ike was a utility man, early '70s, played all over the field. Popular popular with his teammates, always with a happy mood. One other note about him, I read that he is the last Negro League player to make his debut in the major leagues. Of course, by the time he got to the Negro Leagues, was the league itself as a regular league was long gone. Just a few teams barnstorming here and there, but he was part of the Negro League franchise. I can't remember which one. Maybe the Monarchs. Might be wrong there. But he is the last player from the Negro Leagues to make his major league debut. He played like 5 seasons in Detroit. I'll also note, I love this picture because you see the Tigers home jersey in HD, and you can see old Tiger Stadium in the back. See the upper deck there, center field bleachers. I think it's just a great looking card. My last card from 1970 Topps I'm going to talk about is, I imagine you all seen the Ken Burns documentaries of baseball. This guy is prominently talked about in it, and his little bit of a chapter in the whole documentary is Mr. Curt Flood with the Phillies. Of course, he's a longtime Cardinals outfielder in the '60s. This is a Phillies card, of course. If you know your baseball history, you've seen the doc, is that Cardinals traded him to the Phillies, and Curt Flood said he refused to play for the Phillies. And so he sued Major League Baseball for the reserve clause and sat out baseball for a little bit. They never played for the Phillies, ended up playing for the Washington Nationals. This lawsuit never really ended free agency, but worked his way towards. But I thought it was a cool card to have in my collection as a Curt Flood card with the Phillies. Sort of a historical note in baseball history that he was traded to the Phillies but refused to play for and started the lawsuit and all. So, cool card to have. So that's my 1970 Topps, inspired by this year's Heritage. I thought I'd at least talk about some of the '70 Topps, a couple of the players you may not know about. And thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video, and have a good evening.